Hi everyone, this is John from Conscious Beginnings. I'm a registered counselor and a mindfulness educator, and in this video I'm going to talk to you about the transformational power of mindfulness. And at the end I'm going to give you 5 tips that will help you to bring mindfulness into your life. Before we dive into the topic of mindfulness, I would like to share my story around how I started to practice. About 10 years ago, I was going through a very rough time in my life. I had lots of family problems. I didn't like my job at all, actually. It was a very, repetitive job that I was doing at the time. And most importantly, I didn't have a meaning or purpose to wake up to. I was quite depressed at the time. And I saw a doctor, and he prescribed some antidepressants for me, just to help me to get through these difficult times. I remember one night taking that first pill, that little tiny pill, and what happened after that was an experience that I never forget. It was almost like my brain went onto fire. I couldn't sleep all night, and the morning I knew that I had to find another way to deal with what I was going through. So I booked myself into a silent meditation retreat close by, and what happened was, basically we were asked to practice meditation 10 to 12 hours every day in silence. It was a very challenging time for me, to be honest with you. However, at the end of those 10 days, something shifted within me. I started seeing the world from a different perspective. And I made some drastic changes in my life. I quit my job, packed my bags. Actually, 6 weeks later, I ended up on a plane leaving to Australia. Now, this is a part of my story and how I started practicing mindfulness. But let's talk about what is mindfulness. Now, it has become a buzzword in our life today. For me, mindfulness is cultivating present moment awareness with kindness and compassion. And what does that mean exactly? Present moment awareness. You're watching this video right now, your body is here, you're present. However, where is your mind? And this is what we start noticing when we practice mindfulness. Our minds have the ability to wander off, to take off into the past, into the future, worrying, planning, analyzing, catastrophizing, or whatever it might be for you. So our minds may or may not be present right now. There's a recent study done by a psychologist called Matt Killingsworth, and he tracked down 15,000 people from all around the world by using a simple mobile application. He asked these people 3 questions. What are you doing right now? What are you thinking right now? And a bit later, he asked the 3rd question. How are you feeling? What Matt found out was 47% of the time, almost half of the time, people were thinking about something else than what they were actually doing. Now, this is what we call the mind wandering. I'm pretty sure that you have experienced this in your life. For example, you're driving to work, you're happy, you're present, and all of a sudden you arrive and you have no idea how you got there. So you have no idea of driving along the highway, noticing what's around you, what's the surroundings, because you got caught up in that default mode, the autopilot mode, in that subconscious mind. Now you might ask the question, what's so bad about that? The default mode or the mind wandering. Matt Killingsworth also found out that not living in the present moment or mind wandering has a significant impact on our happiness later on. So as long as you're not present, and it doesn't really matter what you think about, you might be planning your next holiday, or you might be thinking about the wonderful night that you had with your partner, doesn't matter. As long as you're not present, you are cultivating unhappiness for later on in your life. Now let me give you 5 simple tips that helped me within the last 10 years, so that you don't have to struggle through those. First of all, mindfulness only works if you practice it. Listening to videos, reading books is great because it gets you interested about the practice. But we see actual changes in the brain and in us as only if we practice mindfulness. So I highly recommend you to start taking some time, 10 to 15 minutes every day, and start cultivating this habit. Number 2, let people know what you're doing. Let your family know that you are trying to become more mindful in your life, and tell them to support you. You don't want to start meditating and then your kids run into the room and disturb you. Just tell them to leave you alone for 10 to 15 minutes during your practice. Number 3, find a space that works for you. You can sit on a chair, you can sit on the floor, you can sit on a cushion. But what I've noticed is it is actually good to have some space that is quiet. You don't want to get disturbed with all this hustle and bustle around you. Number 4, bring kindness and compassion into your practice. What I have seen in my practice over the last 10 years is that my mind could be very judgmental and self-critical. Whenever I was sitting down and noticing that my mind would wander off, I was disappointed, frustrated. I was like, how hard this could be. Just notice these patterns and start bringing kindness and compassion into your practice. The mind will take off. All we have to do is just to notice where the mind went and bring it back gently. Now we are noticing the habit pattern of our minds, and we are habitual beings, so it will take time to change these habits. Be kind, be patient, and be compassionate. And number 5, bring some joy into your practice. Now don't just make this as a chore. Oh gosh, I gotta do this now. I just hate doing this, but I want to do it. So just be curious. How can you bring some joy into your practice? How can you try different ways of being mindfulness? Maybe just go for a walk and notice what's happening for you in the present moment. Alright, now as I mentioned, mindfulness only works if you practice it. So in this video I would like to give you a 2-minute practice so that you start getting a basic idea about how we can actually start practicing mindfulness in our lives. So if you like, just sit comfortably on a chair or on the floor, whatever works for you. And close your eyes if that's okay. Otherwise, lower your gaze and look down so you won't get distracted. And gently start noticing your body sitting here on a chair or on the floor, or wherever you might be. Noticing your feet on the ground. Let go of your day. Let go of the busyness of the mind. Often we get so busy in our day-to-day lives, we hardly ever get any time to reconnect with ourselves. So let's take the next minute or 2 to notice what's happening for us. Noticing your breath, the incoming breath, the outgoing breath. Noticing the sensations in your body. How do you feel right now? Tense, stressed, anxious, relaxed, joyful. Notice what's happening for you without any judgment. It's neither good, it's no bad. It's just as it is. This is your reality right at this very moment. And once again, start noticing your feet on the ground. Notice how the floor or the chair is supporting you. And when you're ready, gently open your eyes. And I would like you to notice if anything has shifted for you within these last 2 minutes of practice. Are you maybe feeling a little more relaxed or calmer? Or maybe nothing has changed? Mindfulness is about noticing what's happening for us at this very moment, and that's all it is. Thank you for watching this video. If you'd like to find out more about Conscious Beginnings and what I do, please go to my website at www.consciousbeginnings.com.au.